Hello, everyone. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Danielle Mera, and I am here today to talk to you about the expansion of our business. Looking into expanding into South America, the two countries I have narrowed down to are Brazil and Venezuela. Here, I have included two pictures of the countries incorporated with their flags. The purpose of my PowerPoint presentation to you today is to inform you about the advantages and disadvantages of expanding into Brazil and Venezuela. I will also touch on the reasons why our company should expand in the country of Brazil over Venezuela. I have come to the conclusion that our company should further expand into Brazil due to the political climate, geographic location, transportation, culture, and the economic situation. Climate. In Brazil, the climate is mostly tropical or semi-tropical. The terrain consists of mostly flat to rolling lowlands in the north, some plains, hills, mountains, and a narrow coastal belt. As opposed to Brazil, in Venezuela, the climate is tropical, hot, humid, and more moderate in highlands. The terrain consists of the Andes Mountains and lowlands in the northwest, Central Plains, and the Guiana Highlands in the southeast. Now I ask you, based off the climates of Brazil and Venezuela, which do you think will allow us to expand our business more easily? That's right, Brazil. Based on the climate of both countries, it would be obvious that Brazil would be the country to expand into. This choice is best for the company due to the fact that the climate in Brazil would be easier to work with. The delivery routes to Brazil and flat to rolling lowlands would be a lot easier to work with as opposed to Venezuela's. Geography. Brazil is located in eastern South America, bordering the Atlantic Ocean. The total area in Brazil is about 8.5 million square kilometers. Of this total area, 8,459,417 square kilometers is land, and 55,460 square kilometers is water. Enough with the huge numbers. When comparing Brazil to the United States, Brazil would be just slightly smaller. On the other hand, Venezuela is located in the northern part of South America, bordering the Caribbean Sea and the North Atlantic Ocean. The total area is about 912,000 square kilometers. Of this total area in Venezuela, about 882,000 square kilometers is land and 30,000 square kilometers is water. Again with the big numbers. When comparing the size of Venezuela to the United States, it is twice the size of California. So this is significantly smaller than Brazil. Here is a picture of the geographic locations of both Brazil and Venezuela. Brazil is where the yellow outlined line goes around, and looking at the picture at the right is Venezuela, and we can see that it's the northern part of South America and it borders the Caribbean Sea as well as the North Atlantic Ocean. Again, when I ask you, when considering the geographies of both Brazil and Venezuela, who would you say has a better chance for us to expand? Right again, Brazil. I come to this conclusion based on the fact that the total area of Brazil is 9 times the size of Venezuela. It's like comparing the United States to the state of California doubled. It's just so much, Brazil is just so much bigger than Venezuela. Transportation. In Brazil, buses represent the main mode of public transportation. Just as it is here in the United States, the road passenger transportation is most widely used public transportation. That's due to the regularity of services, the routes the buses drop off and pick up, and also due to the fact that it's the cheapest transportation fare. In comparison to Brazil, Venezuela's main mode of public transportation is their buses and car services. Looking at these underdeveloped countries, the roadways and airports start to deteriorate over time because the country does not have the money to keep up with the maintenance they need. Since this is the case in Venezuela, underinvestment has caused the quality of most services to deteriorate in recent decades. In Brazil, they have 50,000 kilometers of waterway. Also, if we decide to fly our shipments into Brazil, they have about 4,000 airports. Venezuela, on the other hand, only has 13 ports and over 100 airports. Unevenness in the quality of port and airport facilities has increased in Venezuela, which would make it harder for us to deliver. Again, I ask you, regarding transportation, who would win your vote, Brazil or Venezuela? That's right, again, Brazil. Brazil is the country in which we should expand based on the evidence of Brazil having 20,000 square kilometers more waterway than Venezuela. Brazil also has better developed transportation systems based on roadways, airports, and waterway, whereas Venezuela's transportation systems are deteriorating. Culture. In Brazil, four groups mainly make up their population: the Portuguese, Central and West Africans, indigenous people, and various other European, Middle Eastern, and Asian immigrant groups. With approximately 192 million people, Brazil has the largest population in Latin America and the fifth largest in the world. In Venezuela, the ethnic groups consist of African, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, Arab, German, and indigenous people. As opposed to Brazil, where the Portuguese was their native language, Venezuela's native language is Spanish. Venezuela's agricultural development has been held back by a combination of problems. Venezuela is not self-sufficient in most areas of agriculture, and imports around 70% of its food, mainly from the US and Canada. Based on culture and diets of Brazil and Venezuela, which would you choose to expand? That's right, Brazil. Though some may argue we should expand our posh pastries business into Venezuela, along with other American food that we currently deliver, this would give us a lot of competition. If we expand into Venezuela, we may not make as much profit nor be able to accurately price our products due to the underprivileged people in this country. In comparison to Brazil, which has the fifth largest population in the world, Venezuela doesn't have that many people in which we can expand our business. Economy. The Brazilian consumer continues to support growth, and which would be great for our business. The government is using all of its available tools to stimulate industries such as tax breaks, subsidies to stimulate consumption. In Venezuela, the United States remains Venezuela's most important trading partner. The United States and Venezuela do not have the best relations with one another. In Brazil, the major driver for growth in the next 2 years will be the investment as the country prepares for the Football World Cup in 2014. And the infrastructure is built and enhanced due to them having the World Cup. Brazil will also host the Olympic Games in 2016. Based off the economies of Brazil and Venezuela, which country do you think would be better for our expansion? That's right, Brazil. This is one of the major reasons why our companies should expand to Brazil. We already do not have a good relationship with Venezuela in terms of working with them. We should try to expand into a country where the United States does not already have tension with the government. Though some people may argue that because we already do business with Venezuela, we should continue to grow business in their country, I would highly argue that we shouldn't try to compete with any shipments already coming from the US. Our posh pastries business will not be useful here in Venezuela, where the people are already reliant on products for their budgets. Brazil is holding 2 huge events, which is a big opportunity for our company if we expand there. The Olympic Games may even allow people from all around the world to try our posh pastries business and maybe even want to work with us in expanding into their country. I have provided a summary here to reiterate the main facts of why we should expand our business into Brazil over Venezuela. I hope you enjoyed my presentation and that I've informed you enough to understand why we should expand into Brazil.